Click the links to join the channel here over at Subscribestar or on Odyssey. Sometimes I'll put the politically incorrect versions for the Odyssey members. So can I get English people in Doctor Who? And I was going to say American wokeness ruined Doctor Who, but it's not. I mean, it's more just Hollywood wokeness. And first of all, if you're a slur deleted for the slurs at YouTube. If you're, I'll say, soy boy globalist, then this is not the video or the channel for you. Just a friendly open warning so you don't waste your time and get pseudo outrage, time of the month, panties in your crack type of thing. I mean, what left wingers will do is they'll pretend to watch something that they didn't know it was going to be offensive to them. It's like, so that's why I used the titles like woke SJW soy boy. I don't think YouTube likes those titles, but if you're a left winger and you see all that, oh, they is woke, I better watch the video and get offended. It's like, but you know it's going to be offensive. I mean, is it really offensive? No, but if you're, soy boy panty sniffing perverted pussy, like these 300-pound soy boys are, then you're going to, it's like, it's in the title. You don't have to watch it. I don't want you to waste your time any more than you want to waste your time. It's like, go watch, I don't know, whatever it is those fat coomers watch. I guess ContraPoints? Something like that. I don't know what obese land whales watch. So, can I get English people in Doctor Who? No, you Hugo Boss, because Hugo Boss is when you want to see English people in Doctor Who. That's a totally fair argument. I need a break from the non-European for a while. I'm tired of diverse Mary Sues, and very much tired of men in dresses, or in this case, plural, men in dresses, and I'll say tribe mixing for the algorithm. Most people are not into all these themes, and actually, as I watched this show, Doctor Who #4, I forget what it's called, something stupid, I realized there's actually two men in dresses, and diversity everywhere. It's just blackity black, if you remember CB4. So this is not what I want to see. Can we see European people in what were formerly European shows? This show is just nonstop globalist woke propaganda, where the fair characters are going to be, if they have to portray somebody negatively, that's where they're going to go with it, and the dusky characters are going to be portrayed in a positive light, because that's Hollywood. Maybe they should maybe they should broaden their perspectives. I'll say, that like the censorship, obviously you can hear it be like, that's why I said I put this stuff on Odyssey. So diversity ruins every story. If you want to make a show with a specific group of people, I'm trying to say like 90% of the show is this. It's like, well, why wouldn't you just go film it in an area where they're 90% of the population? It's like if you want that theme of a show, it's like, why would you take what was an English show and turn it into something it's not? Like, why don't you just create something new? If that's what you want to, you really got to see this latest episode to know what I'm talking about. Now, here's the thing. Diversity ruins every story. I try to be as clear on that as possible. Diversity is cancer. Feminism is cancer. I thought people were kind of coming around to these ideas in 2015, 2016. But you got to you got to just kind of say the obvious to people, to remind people that you don't have to be politically correct if you don't want to be, or at least there also has to be people who are willing to say what needs to be said. In the real world, people hate each other. Shocking, I know, that this vibrant diversity is not working out. But when you see these shows, it's so jarring because it's such a bizarro, Disneyfied version of just globalist anti-white cancer. So no, people are not ready for a non-English Doctor Who, and one's the ethnicity, one's the nationality, whatever. So, and I'm not alone in saying this. I mean, people think it. It's just, a few of us come out and say it, and people are not tuning in to watch the new woke Doctor Who, the English show without English people in it. It's like, hey, James Bond, he used to drive English cars, I don't know, Lotuses and Bentleys and Jaguars and what else? That's all I can think of. McLarens, maybe. So what? And then they swap it out. It's like, oh yeah, he's gonna drive like German cars or American muscle cars. And it's like, well, it's not what the whole thing doesn't make sense. Or yeah, it is in the books at least. He had a little, I think it was a 25 caliber. I think that's what he used. He uses a really tiny little pop gun. But then for the movies, they had to make it a little bit bigger because the 25 is not very impressive on screen. So globalists think that people are fungible, that men can though it is a cool little pocket rocket. Like if you want to carry something that's ultimately concealable where legal, of course. Anything that goes bang is really your friend there. So globalists think people are fungible, that men can simultaneously be women, but also that the words have no meaning other than circular definitions. It's all clown planet all the time, but Joker world. But at least they're not taking the audience with them, as the numbers will show. We want to see men in men's roles and women in women's roles, and we know that people are not fungible because we're not children with just addle brain prawn coomer mind from bread and circuses for the cattle debt slaves. English people are English. If you replace them from Doctor Who, then you don't have Doctor Who anymore. You've got globalist propaganda, which is where we are. This is all Hollywood now, obviously, and whether it's American Hollywood or Hollywood, Hollywood is a spirit. It's the same overseas. It's just been a slippery slope since post-war, but in the 70s it started to accelerate. Now we're seeing Sodom and Gomorrah levels of woke. So this fourth special has the blonde girl wetting her panties over the new non-English Doctor Who, who's dancing around some whatever. Except, of course, he's wearing a skirt. So you have tribe mixing, I'll say it for the algorithm, and BLT themes in the first minute of this stupid show. And then the band playing has another BLT character who sticks out like a sore thumb because of his height. The thing is, all this heavy-handed woke messaging destroys the story. People are aware they're seeing propaganda, and it's kind of getting this way, or it has already gotten this way with all of Hollywood. It's going to be interesting to see where Hollywood goes. It's just too obviously heavy-handed. Race and BLT themes when nobody wants any of that kind of stuff. That's not why they watch Doctor Who. None of this is what they expected. For the name Doctor Who, it has a certain association with it, but it has the name, which is the only thing that matters, because they're counting on the name to bait you, and then when you turn on the show to switch you out. But it didn't work this time because the audience didn't show up for a BLT POC faux Doctor Who. The audience is wondering where the English people are and what was an English show, because 90% of the characters are not English, but the audience is 90% English. So why don't they get to see themselves represented? The SJWs, the woke crowd, they never really explain why European people can't prefer to see European shows. So the thing is, if you say that on social media, these fat pussies who don't watch the show, or the cat ladies, will spurg out and call you Islamophobic. Like, yikes, my guy, preferring English people over non-Europeans is like problematic. Touch grass. Or they always tell me you don't know something about X without telling me. Which, none of this makes sense, because they clearly prefer non-English characters over English because they swap them out all the time. It's okay which, kind of proves that, so people aren't fungible because obviously you're preferring to swap out non-European people. It's okay for them to prefer their own, but they're triggered by us doing the same. It doesn't make sense until you just realize that they're the problem, not us. We're awesome. I mean, we really need things just for us. They repeat the same stupid stuff all the time. They can't think of anything original. That's why they repeat those safe phrases like, I don't know, something's about, put your finger inside a woman or something bizarre like that. And you look at the people saying these comments, and they're just, people who are Mountain Dew drinking and fast food and Doritos and playing video games, and these are the virtue signaling soy boy left wingers who are all 50 pounds overweight, and they all have that soft double chin face, and they're almost wearing fedoras, and they left wingers, male or female, they never smile. They just have this almost, some of them will do a straight line across their face, and some will do the corner is almost a smirk, but they don't quite have the self-confidence for a smirk. Because the thing is, their face, they're all just circles. They're all just kind of round, and male or female, they all seem to be 50 pounds overweight. It's, if you're that fat, don't put your face in the picture. You're better off with one of those anime profiles if you're just going to be just a bowling ball face. Anyway, so left-wing pussies are terrified of saying something politically incorrect and getting canceled, so they stick with these safe, stupid things that their puppet masters approved of. Doctor Who has finally reached the point of absurd diversity, where there's so much that you don't even realize. I mean, you're not even watching the show anymore. If you remove the main characters and 90% of the cast, and you swap out the original people or Europeans in general and replace them with non-Europeans, why exactly would we watch the show? And they can't answer that without an ad hominem. In fact, they can't have any conversation without strawman deflection or ad hom. Eventually, if you keep paying attention to channels like this, it'll finally click for you. You'll see Hollywood for what it is, and you won't be able to watch most of it. Definitely anything within the past 40 years. The one exception might be Lord of the Rings. They're not making movies in Hollywood. They're just making propaganda. And when you see it, it's as shocking as if the screen was suddenly started dripping blood, and then like everything, 99% of the movies you saw were these bloody screens. Even the movies about Hollywood are layers of Bolshevism within itself. You never get anything real or honest out of Hollywood. It's all like you're in a matrix and then you awake and you're just in a bigger matrix. The thing is, it's so egregious that it's noticeable even to the normie, and it's making them start to notice the woke elements in more movies and older ones, to the point where you have to go back, I guess, to the 60s to start to find movies that are just not, they just don't have these woke nerfed elements of forced diversity and whatever kind of nonsense. I mean, they kind of clicked into gear in the 70s, and then it just kind of just slippery soaped itself to the 80s, and now, holy cow, it's like, that's what I say. I think you're going to see a massive change in Hollywood within the next 5 to 10 years. Because eventually they're going to run out of investment money, venture capitalist money for Hollywood movies. Like the superhero genre is a good example, because they've got more movies losing money than are making money. And you go, oh well, like you can do the math on that. Eventually, you guys have to start producing what the audience wants, and they can reboot things and move James Gunn around or Snyder around, or from Marvel to DC. But like the movies have to start making money, and I don't think they're going to. So be interesting to see what happens. So you keep making smaller movies, or you'll find out. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys over on Odyssey and Subscribe Star.